Hello everyone, and welcome to today's weather planning briefing. My name is Leanne Allegretto, and I will be walking you through all of the weather to come and their associated impacts and any confidence that we have or don't have with what we expect to occur over the next several days. Let's start right up front with what we are expecting in the weather threat matrix. This should paint a pretty good picture for the mentioned areas of what we're going to expect as we end the week and go into this weekend and the changes that are up and coming. For Friday, we're actually expecting it to be a rather pleasant day. Showers may start up in northwest Montana along the Canadian-Montana border, but overall it's just going to be a mild day with basically winds pretty much present throughout the entire day through the evening hours. Low chance of impact, but it'll definitely be breezy. Then by Saturday, you start to see a more moderate impact start in northwest Montana and a lower impact throughout the rest of Montana into Lemhi County. And that threat just increases as we get closer to Sunday and then tapering back off on Monday. And this is due in part to a very cold Canadian air mass that'll be coming down out of Alberta and hugging along the Continental Divide and then spilling its cold air over into our half of our neck of the woods in western Montana, and to a much lesser extent, central Idaho. As it does so, moisture associated with this system is going to interact with the cold air and gradually change from rain to potentially snow in valleys, and with a high likelihood of accumulating snow heavy at times in the terrain, the higher terrain, roughly about 6,000 feet and higher, maybe even lower than that. So the greatest threat for snow at all elevations will be to northwest Montana Saturday night and most of the day Sunday, and possibly lingering well into Monday morning as well. But we've just highlighted Sunday as being the main high impact day for this area. There'll be snow at passes in north central Idaho and down in Lemhi County, but it doesn't seem like a lot of cold air will make it that far so that the valleys experience snowflakes falling in the sky, but there's still a chance. And then west central Montana and southwest Montana will certainly have snow at passes, but could also see that moderate threat of snow in valleys as well, and that will linger into Monday. And then Tuesday, by that point, we expect the system to be out of here, so this is what we're looking at for our threat matrix going forward. So I want to show what we're dealing with when it comes to the progression of this cold air. Disregard most things, just look at the purples and the blues. That's the indication, and the tightening of lines here shows that the cold air itself coming down out of Alberta will butt up against the divide. So here's Friday. It's going to be windy, just seasonable temperatures, but that cold air is starting to make its way south out of Alberta over into Great Falls forecast area and then eventually into ours. So here's Saturday. So you can see the purple, the coldest air, has made its way down into eastern and central Montana, but it's starting to butt up against the spine of the divide. Some of it will start to spill into northwest Montana, right where those lines, those white lines, are really packed tight. It's gonna wrestle with the terrain for a while on Saturday, especially Saturday night. And then by Sunday, you can see, well, the most cold air is kind of already on its way into eastern Montana, but still plenty of cold air around in western Montana. So the reason I show this is, here's Saturday again, and here's Sunday. The coldest air is going to brush up against the divide, and the main question we have as forecasters that we have to wrestle with is how far west of the divide is that cold air going to go? And right now, if you look between Saturday and Sunday, it doesn't seem like it's going to hang out too long. Certainly much colder air than we're used to, but Arctic air, like super cold temperatures, we're just not expecting. That being said, by Monday, it's completely out of here, and then slightly below normal temperatures, nothing super cold, but still not seasonable, will reign on Monday. So here's what we're looking at. Friday temperatures, the high temperatures are on the left, low temperatures are on the right. So like I said, pretty seasonable for Friday. A cold night for many places along the divide, but overall not completely out of the question from what we've seen lately. By Saturday, you start to see those temperatures in the valleys along the divide start to drop. So we're looking at a high temperature in Polebridge, West Glacier, excuse me, down to Seeley Lake, Butte, kind of in the upper 30s, low 40s. Still not entirely out of the question of being like, unheard of cold. It's just certainly much colder than we've seen for high temperatures so far. But the cold air is still making its way across the divide. At this point, it's still butting up against the divide. Saturday night will be super cold, and we'll start to see, some teens along the divide, some low 20s, mid 20s, but still overall, Idaho and most of western Montana should be rather seasonable. Then by Sunday is when we really start to notice it. The coldest air should remain right along the divide, possibly impacting parts of the Highway 93 corridor, from basically all the way from Eureka down to Salmon. But that being said, we're still seeing the coldest high temperatures right around that northwest Montana, down through Seeley Lake, Helmville, and into Butte. Highs in the mid 30s is completely reasonable given the scenario that we're looking at. Could it be colder? Yes. If that cold air makes it further west of the divide and actually starts to impact places like Lookout Pass, Lolo Pass, then we'll start to see valley potential for snow increase in places such as the Missoula Bitterroot Valley, all the way up through Kalispell, Mission Valley, Flathead, over to Trout Creek and Yak too. So the potential is definitely there, and I'll illustrate that more as we go forward. So let's take a look at the mountain passes. Obviously you see a jump in snow amounts for Marias Pass starting in that Saturday time period when the cold air starts to creep over, and then it continues right through Sunday and Monday as the cold air lingers and interacts with that moisture. McDonald Pass also starts to tick up on Saturday, continues all the way through Sunday into Monday. And you can see here the significant drop in temperatures and how cold it actually stays during that time. Homestick Pass as well, you're a little far south. However, if the cold air actually does make it further westward and southward with time, those amounts could easily go up. Lost Trail Pass, you're kind of in a sweet spot. You've got the elevation working to your advantage and plenty of moisture in the area, so you're not really relying too much on that cold air mass to help you out. You just have the elevation working in your favor. And then Lolo Pass, you're the furthest west, so these amounts could go up if the cold air makes it further west, but right now this is what we're forecasting Sunday and then more so Monday, which we do expect moisture to continue on Monday, so it's very plausible that you could see your higher amounts during that time. But what about valley snow? And by valley, I mean roughly below 4,000 feet. We believe the best time period for snowfall will start either very late Saturday night, overnight into Sunday, and last through all of Sunday into Monday. So I just thought I'd put the areas where we think that snow could actually accumulate in valleys in the populated areas. And if the location that you're interested in is actually not listed here, it's because the chance for snow is very low as of this recording. So it's not like we forgot about you, it's just that it's not a possibility at this time. That being said, there's a column for a 90% chance of occurring and another column showing a 10% chance of occurring. So basically what we expect to happen and then what could still happen if that cold air makes it further west. So Flathead Valley, pretty much 90% chance of occurring 1 to 2 inches. It will probably only stick on non-paved surfaces, or at least surfaces that slowly cool over time, but there should be enough cold air there to support a couple inches of snow falling down to the valley floor. That being said, should that cold air further move into our area further west of the divide, 4 to 6 inches seems completely plausible in that scenario. Mission Valley, you have a 90% chance of seeing at least an inch, but there's a 10% chance that you could get 2 to 4 inches if that colder scenario pans out. Missoula and Bitterroot Valley, 0 up to a trace of snow, or up 1 to 2 inches should that cold air influence us. And Missoula Bitterroot Valley may see snow occurring Monday morning as well. So not just Sunday, but into Monday. The I-90 corridor from East Missoula to Butte, about a trace to an inch, but should that other scenario occur, 2 to 5 inches easily. Seeley Swan Valley, trace to 1 inch, or 2 to 6 inches should that other scenario play out. And Salmon, you're kind of on the low end, but I wanted to include you since you're kind of right on that line. You basically have a 0% chance well, you have a 90% chance of 0 inches of snow. But you could have an inch on the ground during this time if that cold air makes it over. So feel free to pause this and look at it and stew over it if you need to. Feel free to give us a call if you need more information on this. This is just a rough estimate trying to show you the potential of what we think will happen and what could actually happen if the scenario pans out to be colder. Hopefully this is helpful. But again, feel free to call us if you have any questions. Beyond then, basically Tuesday, October 20th onward, we are still looking at a below normal favored pattern for temperatures and above normal pattern for precipitation. So we're going to stay unsettled. We're going to stay probably cooler than normal. And it looks like an active week next week, but that kind of tends to get out there and our confidence lowers, but it definitely remains active and cooler than normal. So that's how I'll segue into inviting you back on Sunday. We'll be in the thick of the system, so we'll have more details then, and we'll talk about the days coming up afterwards. But please feel free, once you see this, give us a call, reach out to us any way you can, and we can answer any questions you have. Thank you.